again trying your best to totally eliminate abortion in Alabama. There have been a handful of states trying to pass a fetal heartbeat bill, and both North Dakota and Arkansas were successful at it last year. I guess you're in competition to have the most restrictive abortion laws in the country, so you can wear it as a badge of honor with your associates. You know that with the right equipment, a fetal heartbeat can be heard as early as 6 weeks, often before a woman even knows she is pregnant. So by forbidding any abortion after the heartbeat is detected, even though the fetus is non-viable, it is essentially outlawing all abortions in Alabama. Legal scholars have said that this kind of law would violate the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Roe v. Wade that abortions are permitted until the fetus is viable outside the womb, generally around 24 weeks into a pregnancy. And because of this, those heartbeat bills enacted in Arkansas and North Dakota have been immediately blocked by federal judges. Republican legislators are being encouraged to pass these bills to find a Supreme Court test case to discover the boundaries of Roe v. Wade. But Paul Litton, who was general counselor to the Americans United for Life for many years, has said that fetal heartbeat measures have no chance in the courts. And James Bobb, a general counsel to the National Right to Life Committee, was worried that aggressive laws like these could go all the way to the Supreme Court where there are not votes to overturn Roe. And I tell you, if the Alabama judiciary does not have the funds to keep our courts open for normal cases, we certainly can't afford to pay for the inevitable litigation that would result. So why are you doing this? Well, one theory is that when you have a bill like this that is so extreme, then lesser bills that come along, well, they look reasonable by comparison and get passed. This is a method of incremental legislation that is chipping away at women's reproductive rights in Alabama and has to stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Ruth?
Martha Morgan?
Ms. Morgan?
Yes, I stayed close by.
Yes.
I guess I'm another of the legal scholars to say that on this bill, it's blatantly unconstitutional under current law. As was indicated, the 2 states that have passed it, it has been enjoined by the federal courts, and the only reason for passing such a bill is to try to get a case to the Supreme Court to try to get them to overrule Roe v. Wade's court holding, which they have refused to do numerous times. As she said, even many in the anti-abortion movement say that these kinds of laws are, don't understand why people are pushing this. Under the existing law, viability is the point. Abortions can't be totally prohibited prior to viability, and this clearly tries to do that. There are already cases, if the Supreme Court wanted to take it, it's already got at least 2 chances, and as all have said, they doubt seriously that it would. There's no reason for us to have more expensive court litigation as we already have going on over the legislation from last time. So I guess those would be the main points I would make on this, other than I would address sort of that's my concerns on my first point about constitutionality of all these bills. My second point was bad health policy, if you remember, and my third, the controversial nature. On the bad health policy, I really have to say something about the rusty knife comment with the laugh, but that's really the bad health policy behind all these bills that at least appear to be intended to make it much more difficult for women to get, and particularly with the bill that we'll talk about with minors, parental consent. If safe legal abortions are not available and women and girls don't view them as a possibility, then we do. It's not a laughing matter. we do return to the rusty knives and coat hangers and things that many of us can remember in this state. And it's not just a matter of memory for me, because I also do a lot of women's rights work outside this country where these kinds of abortion laws still exist and are upheld, and have seen the women's lives lost and families destroyed. So,
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
think I got my red, my red card again.
Representative Patterson, do you have any
I like
questions?
to have a question, is that she is a
Yes.
law professor, or, you know, the last,
Retired,
yeah,
but yes,
the last speaker said that viability was 24 weeks now.
Yeah.
I used to work with premature babies
Right.
and so forth, and I thought it was 20 weeks, we can debate whatever, but the original ruling on Roe versus Wade was the first trimester, is that correct?